Hello, my name is Bill Branch. I am a docent at the Dixon Gallery and Gardens. I want to welcome you here and welcome you to the current exhibit in the galleries, which is called For America, Paintings from the National Academy of Design. This is a wonderful exhibit. I saw it in its entirety a couple of weeks ago. I was overwhelmed by the number of famous artists that are contained with this exhibit. So today I would like to talk to you and focus on one of my favorites. I have several favorites in this show, but a favorite artist of mine is Winslow Homer. Let me tell you a little bit about the National Academy of Design. It's a school and it's a museum. It's in New York City and it's now about 150 years old. It was an honorary society for artists where they could submit works and judges looked at their works, and if they were invited, they became a member of this honorary society. Like I said, that's been going on for over 150 years. It goes all the way back to 1829 when it was founded. Winslow Homer joined this group. He also took some classes. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but he studied in their school. Winslow Homer is a favorite artist of mine, like I said. He is a well-known painter, American painter, in oils and watercolors. Now, the plan for to be a member of this group was you submitted one of your own original works, which was then given to this entity and became part of their permanent collection. So here I'm standing by a Winslow Homer original painting, and that was called their Diploma Painting. They also had what they called the Diploma Portrait, which the whole idea is to have an original work and then a portrait of the artist. It's very fascinating that in this current exhibit, when you walk through it, you will see paintings and portraits, and it's good to see the person's work and then what they look like. In this case, sometimes it could be a portrait or it could be another artist who painted the artist's portrait. For Winslow, another artist painted his portrait. They were contemporaries, this gentleman is Oliver Ingram Lay, painted Winslow Homer's portrait right here. When Winslow has just joined the Academy, and this man, Lay, the artist Lay, was a very well-known portrait painter. He did not live very long. He only lived to be 45 years old. But he became famous simply because he could paint people's portraits. The two of them, Lay and Homer, while they were apparently at National Academy of Design, perhaps became friends, and so Lay created this portrait of him. Winslow Homer, as you can see in this portrait, has a huge handlebar, real red handlebar mustache. He's looking off to his right. Very formal kind of stance. Winslow Homer was a very private person. He didn't share a lot with people, and I think that this artist captured Winslow Homer's countenance and his personality through his art. It just so happens that this painting was Oliver Lay's diploma painting that he submitted to the Academy to become a member of it. So there you see our artist, Winslow Homer. Winslow Homer is kind of the father of painting, of American painting. Civil War is about the time that he starts doing work. The example that he submitted to the National Academy of Design is what we have here. The title of it is called Croquet Player. In the beginning, Winslow, when he starts out in engraving, but eventually he becomes a working artist in oils and then watercolor later in his life. Civil War times, Winslow Homer is depicting scenes of the war. He's actually by Harper magazine sent out to record things that are happening during the Civil War. Afterwards, he begins to paint scenes that are similar to this. This painting is done in 1865. Winslow was attracted to young people and what their pastime activities were over on the east coast of the United States. And these were fairly well-to-do young people who, for their pastime activities, might engage in a game of croquet. Some people may not fully understand what croquet is. It's an outdoor game that's played usually in a lawn or outdoor area. There you can see in this painting a young lady over here off to the right. She is not with anyone else, and she's not recognizable. So I don't know if there are other people around, but in this particular painting, Winslow Homer has her there. Croquet is a game that's played with a wooden mallet and wooden balls. There are also metal arches that are stuck down in the ground, and it's kind of like miniature golf in a way, where you hit the ball with a wooden mallet across a court or a course or whatever and try to get that wooden ball to go through the metal hoop. She is doing that very thing. She is dressed in the dress of 1865. She has somewhat of a hoop skirt on, and she has her mallet in her hand. She has lifted up her dress to put her foot on top of the wooden ball, because that's the way you hit it. You hit it with the ball, and then the ball rolled. And that is exactly what she's doing. She has, like I said, lifted up her skirts just a little bit, which was sort of risque maybe in 1865. And Winslow has captured that she's actually showing some of her petticoats, and you see that in the white area at the bottom. One of my favorite things about this little oil painting that Winslow Homer painted is her hat. She has on kind of a straw hat, which would be sports attire for a young lady at that particular time. And when you get up very close to this painting, look for a red feather. It's bright red, and it's sticking right out of the top of her hat. I think it adds a little interest to the painting. The painting's quite dark. It's a small painting. Winslow Homer continued to do these kinds of scenes of young people at school, playing games, things like that. Later in life, he takes up the medium. This is an oil painting. He takes up the medium of watercolor, becomes a famous watercolorist in that he paints watercolor differently than it's ever been used before, and raises the status of watercolor to a medium that's equal to oil painting. He continues to paint his whole life. He's not scholarly trained. He pretty much trained himself. Like I said, he did take some classes at the Academy of Design, but he trained himself. He becomes famous as an American artist because of his watercolor work. I hope that you will come to the Dixon Gallery and Gardens. I will hope that you will come to see this exhibit for America, tour it, and see the wonderful paintings that are on exhibit here. Thank you.